Welcome back to the Moms Making Money podcast. I am so excited that you are here with me today because we have a very special guest, Christina Carpenter. Christina is a graduate of the Cradle Coach Academy. She is doing an amazing job with her business. Her story and her journey is very similar to mine and where I started. She realized that she no longer wanted to work in corporate. She wanted more flexibility with her time. She wanted to be able to spend more time with her kids. And she also knew that she wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so she tried a lot of different businesses and put herself out there in a lot of different ways before she discovered sleep consulting. And that was just it for her. It clicked for her. So let me tell you a little bit about her, and then we will dive on into the episode. Christina Carpenter is the founder of Everyone is Sleeping, and she is also a mom of three. After beginning her career in a fast paced startup and later working in the corporate world, she stepped away from having a traditional 9 to 5 job to spend more time with her family and build her own sleep consulting business. Christina holds a degree in journalism and French and brings a thoughtful, empathetic approach to every family she supports. She lives in Richmond, Virginia with her husband Tom and their three children. All right, so let's go ahead and dive on in. Hey, Christina, thank you so much for being here today. I so appreciate it.
Hey, Marley, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this conversation. So, as we always start all of our podcast episodes, I would love if you could start by just sharing a little bit about yourself and what you did previously for work outside of sleep consulting and what led you to becoming a sleep consultant.
Sure. Well, my biggest job is that I'm a mom of three. I have a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2.5-year-old. So they definitely keep me busy. Previously in my career, my background was in journalism, and then I took a job in marketing where I wore a ton of different hats. Really got to see like the ins and outs of a small business, which was great. And then after COVID, like moved back to be closer to family. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and got a job working in a big corporate company, which I loved. And it was very different than what I'd done before. But ultimately, the kids just needed more of me, and I needed more of me. And I really didn't feel like I had 40 hours to give to a job anymore. So I started just looking around and looking for things. And when I found sleep consulting, I knew that that was the jump that I wanted to make and the thing that I thought could fill my need to work and to keep working, but also be able to really control how much, when, and where. And so I found you guys and so glad that I did, and can't believe that was just about a year ago.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was about to ask that. So, do you remember when about you graduated or got certified?
I believe that I got certified in October. And so I started the course around this time last year, so May, finished in October, and then launched my business in November. I kind of had like a bunch of clients already starting to come in as I was finishing the certification, which was amazing because it was nice to know like, okay, here we go. There's not going to be a big dry spell of like trying to get clients.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. So, whenever you were researching and deciding what you wanted to do next, had you already been interested in sleep? Like, was that something that you did with your own kids? Did you sleep train them? And tell me just a little bit about what
Sure.
that looked like. Why sleep consulting was what
Yeah,
you,
that's a great
made you
question.
excited.
I literally was Googling like jobs you can do from home for freedom, like that kind of thing, just trying to get my juices flowing and think like, what could I do here if I leave my real steady job? Because that's a scary thing. And all the things were just not jumping out at me. And then I saw the sleep one, and it was like a light bulb moment for me because I did sleep train my children. I love sleep. I'm maybe obsessed with sleep. And I was already that person in my friend group. Like people would call me and text me and say things like, okay, she just woke up from a nap. What should I do next? What time should I do bedtime? I had somehow just taken on that role already, and I was passionate about it. I did a lot of research. I followed a lot of different programs for my kids, and they all worked in different ways. And so I knew, like, okay, this really works. There's a huge need. There's not just one way of getting the results. And so I think all of those things led me to know like this is a really important role that we can serve for friends and mothers and new parents. Like it's such a hard time. It was a really hard time for me. And I can't imagine like if my kids weren't sleeping on top of all that hardness, like how hard it is. It's just such a big change in life. So I think for me, it connected a lot of dots of the things that I know are my strengths, and working one on one with another new parent or a second time parent whose child is different this time. It's just such a great thing to be able to do and to be that like steady rock in their life through that time.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I always like say to parents and prospective students and whatever else that exactly what you just said, that parenting is so hard. It is like literally the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I feel like it just continues to evolve as my kids get older and we go into different phases of parenting and all of that. And not sleeping on top of that
Yes.
is like insane. It's just, it adds this whole other layer of difficulty that we don't need and it's not necessary. Like we can get them to sleep better and then everybody's just happier and it just makes life so much easier. So definitely relate
Totally.
to that. And I know that whenever you and I had chatted separately, you had shared that you had always seen yourself doing a business or starting a business. And so I know that you just shared a little bit about that journey and what led you to sleep consulting specifically. But I know you also like tried some other things first, which I did as well. I had a cookie business, I had an MLM, I had like so many different things that I did before I landed on sleep consulting. So I know that you just shared a little bit about what was different about sleep consulting for you, but I would love if you could talk us through just that journey of trying different things and what it felt like in that moment to know that you wanted to do something like that, but just being unsure of what it was and then how it, how it feels to be now in the right thing that you know is right for you.
Yeah, sure. I think a couple of the things I had tried in the past, I did some importing of like necklaces. I had an Amazon storefront. I also had set up a little online shop to sell wedding favors, party favors, and was doing custom bags. I feel like I never had the full skill set needed to get those things off the ground. Like there were always weak spots where I'm like, oh, I need to hire, someone to do this piece or someone to help me here. And so I kind of would just stall out. It would go a little bit and then stop. And I think the difference with sleep consulting, well, one, to have the support of a program like the Cradle Coach Academy, where literally everybody that's gone through it has done it. And they can prove that it works and you have people to go to. So that was a huge piece. And then the second thing, just knowing that I could see myself doing this forever, I think it can grow and scale with you. Some of these other things I felt like I would have to really go all in, invest a ton up front and maybe see the payoff, but maybe not, or getting like really small earnings per
Mhm.
sale for like a small item that I'm selling. Like you need a lot of that and a lot of marketing power. Whereas a client-based business like this, like you can accept or decline. You can raise your prices, right? Like there's just a lot more control over your income, I think, right out of the gate. So all of those things combined, I think helped me know it was the right thing. Just knowing I have the backing of this community and this program. Like if I have questions, you guys are here. There's always people willing to jump in and offer guidance or what they've done that has worked. And that's really invaluable. I have a friend who's setting up a business right now, like in the parent coaching space, and we go back and forth a bit too. And so often I'm just so happy that I have these resources because they've helped me skip ahead and miss a lot of like the hurdles that she's getting over them and she'll do great. But I'm like, oh, I have a template for that. Or I have a script for how to run a discovery call and land the sale. Like that is huge, not having to fumble through 10 of those before figuring it out. So I'm grateful for that.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That's exactly why we put it all together because I know how much I struggled in the beginning and then once I figured things out through all of that struggle,
Mhm.
then I was like, I don't want them to have to go through this. So let's get this all in here so that they have everything they need to be successful right away. So that's awesome. And yeah, it totally relates to everything that you just said with the margins. Like that was a huge piece for me of why the other businesses didn't make sense, like the cookie decorating specifically. I remember being like, do I really want to put in like this massive amount of time every single week and then get such little return on that time investment. And then with like MLMs, the volume just has to be so incredibly high in order for you to earn what you want to earn. Whereas, like you said, with sleep consulting, it's service based and you're able to scale. And then eventually you can add passive income opportunities like guides and courses and all of those things. And so it definitely is something that can grow with you and be totally scalable. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's a great point because I think right now, like my kids are young. I don't have a lot of time to give to this. Like I'm probably giving 10 hours a week or less on a given week, depending on client load. But I see myself like in a future state where they're all in school or kindergarten or older, and I can give more and I can build some courses and take on more clients at once. So I love that because I know while right now it might feel slow or not like the pace I'm used to at work, it's so great that like I can leave and go to the kids' school. When I get a phone call that someone's sick, I don't have a panic. I'm like, I'm here, I'm good. Like, this is why I have the flexibility. So I think like the stress reduction has been really amazing for
Yeah.
that and just being able to be present for the kids and like the fact that all of our clients are moms with small kids, like they get it. If somebody's sick and I have to push a call back, I hate to do that, but it's not everybody understands. And
Yeah.
sometimes my clients have to do the same. So I think that's a
Yeah.
great community to be in.
Yes, absolutely. Love that. Okay, so I would love to hear about your accomplishments. So I know that you just shared you're working about 10 hours a week. And so I would love to hear what you're most proud of so far inside your business.
Sure. I think I'm most proud of the quality that I'm able to deliver to my clients. Like I've had probably 100% of clients have left happy and their kid is sleeping and we've made huge progress, if not reaching all their goals, very close to it. And I think with that, it's allowed me to stay really busy and keep getting referrals. And all of that, like I really credit back to you guys in the trainings because anytime I'm stuck or unsure, I come to the community, I flip back through the section of the training until I'm rock solid in my advice, right? So just knowing it's not just me in my opinion, but like this is backed up by data. This works. If we keep doing this, we will get this result. And so it's great just to have that confidence going in. And I think that comes through when the parents can then implement the method as you're teaching it with confidence themselves, then the child will learn faster and everybody leaves happy. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably what I'm most proud of. Most proud of just delivering a really quality service to people.
Yeah, that's amazing. 100% of clients being happy is something to be super proud of. So that's awesome. So when you enrolled in our program and you started studying and you started going through everything, what did you think at that point that you were going to need to be able to be successful in your business?
Yes. So at that point, I was imagining that a lot of my time would be spent on like building a website and making ads and trying to just get clients. I interestingly have found that people didn't care if I had a website or not. I had some clients like ready to book and I had nothing up, nothing to check or vet. I'm like, I'm a sleep consultant. Great. When can we start? So I think that yes, the credibility is important, and I'm glad I have all of those things now. But I also think I could have started with just an Instagram account with a few posts and some credibility there, because that's sort of what busy parents go to versus reading like 6 pages on a website. So, yeah, I think there's been less startup than I imagined there would be.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I think that it's so easy to get caught up in like wanting everything to be right or wanting everything to be 100% set up before we start. And then we realize nobody really cares about a lot of that. We care more than the clients do. And that counts for something, right? Like we want to feel good about our business and everything being solid and all of that. But there's definitely that aspect of just do what's going to get you started. Just do what's going to bring the money in and then take it from there. So I think you alluded to this a little bit, and then I know I'm excited to hear this, but what actually contributed to your success? So you thought that you were going to need this like website and all of this, foundational stuff in place before you started being successful, but what actually contributed to your success?
Yes. So 100% of my success has been from referrals and word of mouth. Kind of building on that, a lot of that has been via via Facebook. So I'm plugged into a really great mom community in Richmond with a lot of members. And anytime that someone asks about sleep, someone else will bring up my name, and then other people will chime in and say, yes, we worked with her. She's great. She's great. And that is the best form of advertising that's out there. And I just feel really lucky that I was able to work with several moms in this group. I mean, they're my friends and they live near me, so it makes sense. But it's just a really engaged group. And so I continue to get referrals from that group and discovery calls and friends just sort of doing the advertising for me in a natural way, and it feels authentic, and it is authentic. So that's been my biggest source. I just love Facebook for that, like the way that it creates community. And then my other word of mouth referrals have been through my volunteer clients. So in the beginning, when we were completing the course, we worked with volunteers. I had a friend up in the DC area who put my name out on a listserv of teachers, and I volunteered with 2 different people in that group, and they've continued to refer me as well. So not Facebook there, but once in a while I'll get a discovery call. They're like, oh, so-and-so said you guys work together. I'm like, okay, that's my little DC group up there. And it's just nice to see that. And if I continue to put more time into this, hopefully growing more little pockets of people that can continue to refer me.
Yeah, well, that's so amazing. I love hearing that. And I totally agree that that is absolutely the best way to market your business. And people are naturally going to trust somebody who they know or a referral much more than us just saying, like, I'm amazing, hire me, right? And so it definitely makes a huge difference. So, what would you say to somebody who is either just getting started with volunteers and they're trying to figure out who they should work with or how to find the right volunteer clients or how to get the most, I guess, bang for their buck with volunteers when it comes to future referral opportunities and relationships and things like that? How did you decide to approach it in the way that you did? And is there anything that you learned from that process that you would either do differently or that you're happy that you did the way that you did?
Sure, great question. I'm really happy with starting with a local focus. So what I had done was I reached out to a big group of girls that live in the area I had gone to school with in the past. They all have young kids. And I said, like, hey, I'm looking to take on some clients. Do you guys know anyone? And so I was going farther than just my friends, but asking them to reach out. And I think what was great about that was that I ended up getting locals. So it was people in Richmond, people, other moms, friend of a friend. And I think that's the best place to be because, this isn't your best friend that you're working with, but oh, we both know Sarah, right? So I trust you. Like there's an inherent trust already, and you don't have to necessarily overcome that hurdle on your discovery call, which you can do, but I think it takes longer. And so I would really say local. Like more and more I see that is so powerful. And even a place maybe that you used to live, like I used to be in DC. So having that pocket there, I can still talk shop with them when we're chatting like, oh yeah, is this still here, is this still here? So you have something in common. And I worked with a few people like on the West Coast that I used to work with, and I don't feel like that's led to referrals. And again, that makes me think it's not that I wouldn't do it. Like I loved getting to work with those clients, but I do think there's a power in just staying local and close or within a stone's throw of where you live.
Yeah, definitely agree. And so I know that something can be really intimidating for a lot of new sleep consultants and even those that are going through the volunteer process is just putting themselves out there and being willing to tell people like you did, tell people who they know, hey, I'm going through this process. Do you know anybody who needs support? Or could you put this out there in any of your local groups or whatever it may be? And so how did you overcome that? Did you have any of that fear? And if so, how did you overcome it? And what would you recommend to those who may be nervous or feeling anxious about taking that step and telling the world what they're doing and telling their tight knit circle what they're doing and how they can help them be successful?
Sure. I think I was a little nervous. I was more just nervous about the big career change. So once I got over that and like gave notice and decided I was, going to drop down in how much I work, I was super excited to share what I was doing next. And so I don't know if I had the anxiousness there. It was more about like leaving my job. And then I wanted to tell everybody because I had finally found the thing that I have been waiting for. And so that part was easy and fun. But I would say if you have anxiety around that, just start with your friends and family because as I told people, they were just like, oh, yeah, I can see that for you, or that makes a lot of sense, or you'd be great at that. And that reaffirmed that I was doing the right thing and gave me more confidence. And then with telling friends, everybody's excited. Great, I'm going to have someone who knows everything about sleep that I can call on speed dial. So my friends have been very encouraging too.
That's so awesome. I love that. Yeah, I'm sure that also deciding to go all in and deciding to put in your notice and everything like that probably helped push you as well because it was like, not only do you have a little bit more time to commit to it, but then you also know this is it. This is what I'm doing.
Right.
And I need to make it work. I need this to be, the right decision and everything like that. So I think that makes it a little bit easier too. Whereas if we continue to have the security of the weekly paycheck or biweekly paycheck, and it may not be exactly what we love to do, but it's comfortable and it works, then it can be a little bit less motivating, I guess, to take those steps that may be a little bit uncomfortable with putting ourselves out there and doing those things that we need to do to grow our business. So, one more thing before we move on to our other questions, I would just love to hear a little bit about what you've done to maintain those relationships that you have with the either the volunteer clients that you had or the other referral past clients that you have as well, where you've been able to maintain that and have them continue to keep you top of mind and continue to refer you to other people. So have you done anything to like, I guess, formalize that process, or is it more of a casual relationship that you've maintained over time?
That's a great question. And this is on my to-do list. I really want to focus on this because I think it's so important. I would love to build in like checkpoints at certain intervals. What I'm doing right now is when we finish up, when we wrap up, I say, I would love to check in with you again in the next 6 months. Like anytime you want, 30 minutes free call, just send me a text and we'll jump on the phone. And so far, no one has done that. So I want to find a way that I can be more proactive about reaching out. And then another thing that I'm going to implement soon is sending out a little gift for the child on their birthday, like a little book. I have a few in mind that I'm excited about just to remember that, we had this great period of time together. I'm thinking about you guys. Informally right now, I'm checking in when I think of clients. Like I've actually physically bumped into a few people around town, which has been great. I saw a girl the other day who I had a discovery call with. I advised her, like, let's keep your daughter in her crib a little longer. Came up with a few ways to do that. And at dinner the other night, she's like, I need to call you soon. So I'm guessing the little one's climbing out of the crib or close to it. But just having those in-person touch points is great. And that can just happen organically. But I do think the follow-up is so important, and I would love to build that into my plan more so that I can be sure not to miss those occasions.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for being flexible and sharing all of these random questions that I've
Yeah,
had for you
no,
about
great question.
referrals. I think it's something that a lot of sleep consultants, especially in the beginning, and myself included in this, can not put as much focus on this aspect of building the business because they think like I'm not going to get my bang for my buck, or it's going to be something that's going to take more time to pay off. And maybe that's true, but at the same time, you have to think about the payoff at the end of it and to get to the point where you're not having to post on social media every day because there's people out there who are putting your name out there constantly and telling others about you. And like you said, jumping in these Facebook groups and saying, hey, you need to hire Christina. And that is so incredibly valuable and so worth our time to invest in. And so I just think it was something that I really wanted to focus on because I want others to hear how it can pay off and what the success can look like from that.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And like as you can see, I haven't put much focus on it yet either because like you say, like other things come up, you're busy. It doesn't feel like it's the number one thing to do. But It's definitely on my list. And also with referrals, I've had 3 clients that have then asked me to come work with another child in the household. Like at the beginning, that child wasn't an issue, right? They had one that was causing more trouble at night. And then they've come back and said, oh, well, so and so's sleeping so great. Like we would love to work with our older kid, usually.
Yeah.
So that's happened with 3 families since launching in November. So I feel like I've had like longer touch points with some
Mhm.
of these families that we haven't yet gotten to like, I'm not out of mind yet, right? We're still kind of in top of mind
Yeah,
territory.
totally. That's awesome. And that just shows that they had, like you said earlier, such a great experience the first time. And so they know that they can trust you and come back to you again whenever they need that help again. So that's really cool. So, talking about again, like going back to the beginning, whenever you first enrolled and you were deciding that you wanted to pursue this, did you have any hesitations in that process of, do I want to do this? Is the right thing? And if you did, how did you overcome those hesitations?
Yeah, I did. I started to overthink it. Like, I found you guys and everything looked great. You reached out personally. I remember that. And you had shared some of your story. It sounded like mine. And so right away, I was drawn to you and your course. And then I kind of got in this like fear territory where I'm thinking, okay, this is a big investment. Am I going to do it this time? I started looking around at all the other programs out there. And then I got in this like analysis paralysis stage where I was like, I don't know which one to pick. They all have different things. Is this the best one? Is this the best one? And then I don't know who told me or something happened at work where I was like, I have to just decide and move forward. Right? Like I could stall here for another 6 months finding the perfect program that's the most inclusive. I don't know if that exists. Like I've decided to do this. I like Marli. I like you guys. I found you first. I'm just going to go and do. And I'm so glad that I did. I think I could have swirled a little longer. So that was probably my hesitation. Like, is this the right one? And I think I answered my own question. It was the right one. No regrets. Glad that I just finally stopped hemming and hawing and did it.
Yes, I think you made the right decision too. And we're grateful that you joined us. And again, I'm just so excited that you're doing so well and that it has felt like the right decision for you. So awesome to hear. So, what would you say to somebody who is considering joining our program and working through the process of getting certified?
I would say that if this feels right, do it. I think like if you're looking, I think we're all in the era of people who have maybe tried different careers or dipped a toe in different things like we both have. And if this feels different, if this feels like the right thing, something you could see yourself doing day after day, year after year, then go for it. Or if you don't, like go and do it for a year. Like I kind of gave myself that freedom of, I think I can really do this one. Like nothing else has gotten off the ground that I've tried. This is going to be different. I knew it. But at the same time, like I figured if in a year or two it doesn't feel right, like you can pivot. You don't have to be married to this forever. And I think like with the client-based work, scale up or down as you want. And like that's what I really needed. And that's really where I think this is a career forever because of that flexibility. And as parents, we need that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I cannot imagine ever going back to the structured corporate job schedule and having to ask off for vacation days and having to ask to leave early when my kids get sick or they have a special event at school or whatever else. It's hard for me to even wrap my mind around how I did it for so long
I
now
agree.
that I know the other option.
And I'm so busy. And I ran into an old colleague on a walk the other day. I'm like, I don't know how I used to work 40 plus hours and get everything done. And now I'm busier than ever. It's been nice to be able to say yes to things that for so long I just, had to put the email away. I can't volunteer. I'm too busy. So being able
Mhm.
to be more present and engaged with the kids and our community has been really nice.
Yep, absolutely. So, is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't addressed so far?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think if there was anything. I feel like we've covered a lot.
And I asked a bunch of extra questions.
Sure. And we talked about, I mean, again, I think the one thing that makes this community so special is just like how engaged everybody is. And that was one thing that I did try to figure out before I picked this program, but I ended up just going for it. But like, how engaged are the Facebook groups? How supportive is the community once you're in? Are there 5 people or are there like 200? Are they really active? And I can say wholeheartedly, like, this community is so active. Everybody's so nice and kind and truly helpful. They want to share what's worked for their clients. You know, there's like a lot of collaborative troubleshooting when we hit something that no one has had before. So it's great. Like, I love that. I think that alone is so worth the enrollment fee. And I think about that, like, going on into my career, just knowing that I have that support and backing of a bunch of other really smart sleep consultants it's a thing to know.
Yes, for sure. We all need that support, whether it's whenever we're still going through the certification process or like 5 years after we launched our business. There's always going to be things, either business related or sleep related, that we're faced with that we don't know how to handle or we haven't seen before. And yeah, I think that that's an absolutely vital part of the puzzle for sure.
Definitely.
So, if you could just share how everybody can connect with you, that would be awesome. If you want to share social media or website or wherever else, that would be great.
Sure. Instagram is probably the best place. My name there is everyone underscore is underscore sleeping. So everyone is sleeping with underscores. And my website is everyoneissleeping.com. So you can also go there and jump over to my Instagram account. And I have a 15-minute free discovery call. So I'm also happy to talk to people thinking about becoming a sleep consultant. I had one person book a call to do that, and we chatted, and then she booked a sleep package, which was so
It's
sweet.
awesome.
I was like telling her all the behind the scenes stuff of the course and how much money we're making and all that stuff. And she's like, okay, so how do I book a package?
That's so
Which was
awesome.
funny and great.
Yeah, that's amazing. Awesome. Well, I again so appreciate you doing this. I love having these conversations and loved getting to hear everything that you're doing and all of the success that you've had and how this has brought a entirely new balance to your life with your family and work and everything like that. So thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Marley. It was awesome to be here.